Three suspected drug traffickers were arrested after nearly 360 pounds of cocaine were found hidden in a tractor trailer in the Bronx.
Since the dawn of time, drug smuggling has thrived, largely because it offers a high rate of return on investment. Even after a thorough examination, there are many of these continuous actions that go undiscovered. Each year, illegal drugs worth billions of dollars are transported around the world due to the desire of millions of consumers. These crimes range in severity from the extremely serious, involving tons of illegal goods valued at millions of dollars, to the extremely little, involving grams and single-digit kilograms. The culprit is viewed as a domestic and worldwide threat in both minor and major situations. To the extent that they do not choose to turn a blind eye to a number of other criminal motives, Border Control and other state authorities continuously work to put an end to these illegal operations. Growing or creating drugs, moving them across borders, and possessing and distributing them are all examples of drug-related behavior. In most nations around the world, drug-related offenses are something that the police take quite seriously. Despite the fact that the majority of people are ignorant of these drug seizures, authorities have discovered enormous quantities of drugs with extremely high street values in numerous regions throughout the world. In order to keep their discoveries and methods under wraps, they usually act covertly. Drug traffickers must devise new methods of entering the country, including through the shipping of fruits, vegetables, and flowers, due to increased security at airports and borders. Although occasionally they are found, the people who buy them also come up with inventive ways to hide their stash. While some of these disguises are quite successful, others are just plain ridiculous. What happened in these attempts, despite failure, to give them historical relevance in the smuggling industry? You will get to know this and plenty more about the failed masterpiece of intelligence. So sit tight and be the judge of this brutal rise with us until the end of this video. However, before that, here's a quick reminder that you can subscribe for free and like the video so that we can boost the algorithm. Comments are most welcomed. It is not meant for something else. Federal officials said on April 9, 2021, that a lady who arrived at John F. Kennedy International Airport from the Dominican Republic reportedly had cocaine stashed in her bra, purse, and other internal body parts. On April 9th, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers, the traveler, identified as Yerlina Lantigua Hernandez de Nova, presented herself for inspection upon arrival at the Queens hub. Within her purse, officers discovered 3 pellets that contained white powder and later tested positive for cocaine, according to the agency. After that, De Nova was transported to a separate room for a search, where CBP agents allegedly discovered similar pellets in her bra. At that time, the woman allegedly admitted to officers that she had also implanted pellets into her body. About 100 white powder pellets in all were found on and in De Nova, according to the investigators. The pellets were all found to contain cocaine by test. The amount of the substance was found to be 3 pounds. According to officials, the seizure has a close to $100,000 street value. De Nova was accused of bringing a controlled substance into the country, which is a serious crime. She was detained, and Homeland Security Investigations was given custody of her. According to officials, De Nova will now be prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the U.S. Eastern District Court of New York on federal drug smuggling allegations. It wasn't immediately obvious whether she had hired a lawyer. What's under the wig? Some drug traffickers will go to great measures to make sure their illicit shipment escapes capture and arrives at its destination. However, as a Colombian cocaine smuggler learned this week, smuggling drugs under the noses of law enforcement may be risky. Police reported that the individual was apprehended at Josep Tarradellas Airport in Barcelona, carrying 0.5 kilograms or 1.1 pounds of cocaine, which was worth approximately 30,000 euros. Officers did not have to search very far to find the package because it was hidden beneath his ill-fitting toupee. Baby or drug stroller? In 2009, federal agents apprehended a lady attempting to smuggle marijuana into the United States by concealing it in a baby stroller. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials, it was one of 4 occurrences at the Calexico port of entry where police recovered drugs with a combined street value of more than $1.7 million. On that particular day, a customs officer noticed a woman at the pedestrian crossing pushing a kid in a stroller who appeared anxious and stopped her. 5 packages of marijuana were discovered by police in the padding of the stroller. The woman, a 27-year-old Sealy resident of Imperial County, was taken into custody. The infant was taken by the baby's family, the 10 pounds of the pot. Within tires. On June 12, 2002, a Hungarian customs official used a flashlight to find packs of heroin in a Turkish truck's spare tire at the Nagylak border crossing between Hungary and Romania. On Wednesday, Hungarian customs officials found 164 packs containing 84 kilograms of heroin in 2 spare tires of a Turkish truck transporting fresh cucumber to Germany. The quantity of drugs found at the Hungarian border is the most so far this year. For using drugs, the Turkish truck driver was detained. In a burrito. A woman from Nogales, Arizona, was detained by CBP agents in May 2016 at the port of Nogales. When the 23-year-old Arizona lady passed through the Morley pedestrian gate, the officers brought her in for inspection. The cops discovered a whitish material during this inspection that was wrapped in a tortilla to look like a burrito. The material was eventually determined to be meth, and the woman was taken into custody. The drugs weighed over a pound and were estimated to have a street worth of $3,000. Although it was the cops' first encounter with someone attempting to transport drugs in this manner, they are accustomed to people hiding drugs in all kinds of unusual places. Officers only detained a 43-year-old Mexican national the next day at the Nogales land crossing. Officers found about 24 pounds of cocaine and 10 pounds of meth secreted in the trunk of his car after referring him for a vehicle inspection. The estimated total street value of the medicines was $300,000. The high pineapples. It appears that drug smugglers frequently conceal their contraband inside food. 9 persons were detained in April 2017 for concealing drugs inside of live pineapples. A drug shipping organization operating out of Portugal was stopped by a multinational task group comprising police from Portugal and Spain. Fresh pineapples were being hollowed out by drug traffickers, who then filled them with plastic bags containing cocaine. It was thought that the smugglers had been employing this technique for months without the Spanish government's knowledge. At the time of the bust, around 1,000 pineapples containing 745 kilograms of cocaine were recovered. The pills had an estimated street value of a whopping $22.4 million. Spanish officials started intercepting duplicate shipments using the same packaging techniques after this instance and made national headlines. Even puppies are no exception. The United States Drug Enforcement Agency detained 22 Colombian nationals in February 2006 for attempting to smuggle heroin into the country. According to officials, the men surgically implanted the drugs into puppies in an effort to avoid being caught. By cutting up the puppies and injecting the heroin into their bodily cavities, the men were able to enter the United States with more than 20 kilograms of drugs. Unfortunately, the problems with the packages being implanted into the puppies led to the deaths of 3 of them. The heroin was thought to have a street value of almost $20 million. This covert technique is comparable to the drug smugglers' use of people to transport their contraband. The term drug mule refers to individuals who bring illegal substances into a nation through a number of covert means. The most popular technique is to inject the medications into their bodies, either by eating them or implanting them surgically beneath the skin. As a result of unintentional overdoses, thousands of drug mules perish each year as a result of this practice. Strapped to a pigeon. In May 2017, authorities in Kuwait caught a pigeon with cocaine attached to its back in a tiny backpack. The pigeon was discovered in Abdali, close to the Iraqi border. It had 178 ketamine-containing pills on it. The anesthetic known as ketamine is frequently abused as a party drug. Although customs officers were aware that pigeons were being used to smuggle drugs, this was the first time they had actually seen the bird in action. Although this may have been the first instance that Iraqi authorities discovered pigeons transporting drugs, reports of similar incidents have been made in the past. In 2017, officers at a prison in Brazil discovered a pigeon with a cell phone in its beak. Pigeons have been used to deliver messages and other tiny items since Roman times. Due to their inherent homing skills, pigeons are an ideal way to quickly convey information or transfer tiny goods over distances of up to hundreds of kilometers. Inside a submarine. A 40-foot submarine that was headed toward American shores was intercepted in the Pacific Ocean in September 2019 by Colombian and American naval forces. The submarine was found to be carrying 12,000 pounds of cocaine, with a staggering estimated street value of $165 million, according to the Coast Guard. 4 residents of Colombia who were on the submarine at the time of the seizure were taken into custody. They are each facing 2 counts of cocaine possession with the intent to distribute. In the past few years, this type of smuggling has grown in popularity. Only the best drug smugglers working for cartels often use submarines due to their high cost. The Coast Guard discovered another submarine transporting 17,000 pounds of cocaine in June 2018. Those are only 2 of the 14 drug smuggling vessels the Coast Guard had stopped that year. The 14 vessels that were seized had 933 pounds of marijuana and 39,000 pounds of cocaine in total. They were worth more than $569 million together in the open market. Using drones. The use of recreational drones has increased dramatically in recent years. Due to this, drug traffickers have started using drones to cross borders without having to worry about security. Along the southwest border between Mexico and the United States, the use of drones for smuggling has become an issue. According to the U.S. Department of Border Protection, hundreds of drones sneakily cross the border each day, bringing in an undetermined number of illegal goods. A 25-year-old man was given a 12-year prison term in January 2018 for using a drone to breach the border between San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico. United States Customs agents found a drone inside of which was 13 pounds of methamphetamine. Since then, more than 500 additional individuals have been charged with attempting to use a drone to smuggle drugs across the border. The maximum punishment for importing drugs into the United States is life in prison. Inside art. A statue of a snail that was in the mail for Cincinnati, Ohio, was stopped by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in January 2017. When the statue was broken open, the authorities found a Ziploc bag carrying more than 50 pounds of methamphetamine. The shipment was marked as Mexican stone crafts and came from Mexico. The estimated street value of the medicines was $100,000. To date, no one has been taken into custody for this matter. Drugs may be also concealed in paintings and other works of art. United States Customs and Border Protection officials found additional drug smuggling using religious artwork in March 2020. After drilling into the picture frames of an 8-painting container, it was found that the picture frames were methamphetamine-filled. Between the paintings, authorities discovered a total weight of 9.2 pounds, which had an estimated street value of $16,000. There are plenty of these ongoing activities that remain undetected even after a comprehensive investigation. The demand of millions of users drives billions of dollars worth of illegal drugs around the world each year. These crimes range from much more serious ones involving tons of illegal items with a value calculated in millions of dollars to much less serious ones involving grams and single-digit kilos. In both minor and major situations, the perpetrator is seen as a domestic and international threat. Border Control and other state agencies are continually attempting to put an end to these illegal activities, to the degree that they do not choose to turn a blind eye for a variety of other criminal reasons. Drug-related behaviors include growing or producing drugs, transporting them across borders, and having and distributing them. Drug-related offenses are something that the authorities treat quite seriously in the majority of countries throughout the world. Authorities have found massive amounts of drugs with sky-high street values in several locations around the world, despite the fact that most people are unaware of these drug seizures. They typically conceal their acts so as not to draw attention to their findings and techniques. Some of the seizures, however, have been so noteworthy that they have made the press. Organized crime groups are being forced to modernize their drug trafficking methods by shifting criminal dynamics, new government control measures, and rapid technological advancements. So who are the most intelligent smugglers devising novice plans and techniques to conceal contrabands and other stuff? You will get to know this and plenty more about the most ingenious ideas the smugglers came up with to get their illegal haul across the border. So sit tight and be the judge of this brutal rise with us till the end of the video. However, before that, here's a quick reminder that you can subscribe for free and like the video so that we can boost the algorithm. Comments are most welcomed. The door made of cocaine. An ex-public school student who planned a $3 million scheme to get cocaine into Britain through wooden doors was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2007. For his unusual operation, 39-year-old Paul Sneath employed absorbent fiberboard sheets, cheese graters, and industrial solvent. The college dropout arranged to have liquid cocaine inserted into the fiberboard cores of the elaborate doors. They were transported from Panama to Guilford, Surrey, and the home of his family. His mother, Linda, the leader of a women's golf team, was unaware of the con and paid $798 for the large package. When they got there, the elaborate door casing was taken off, and the fiberboard was shaved with a cheese grater. After that, the shavings were combined with an industrial solvent to create 52 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of $3.2 million. Sneath, who had inherited $250,000, was convicted of conspiring to supply cocaine at Inner London Crown Court together with 4 other Colombians. At an East London garage, the group was discovered extracting the narcotic. Coke in hangars and heroin enclosed seized at airports. People appear to really enjoy trying to smuggle heroin into JFK, but given how frequently they get discovered, you'd think they'd try another airport. At JFK, customs officers discovered more than 16 pounds of heroin hidden in 6 pairs of pants and 5 pairs of cargo shorts, the third instance in as many months. On November 1, 2010, 2 men from Ecuador were detained for attempting to smuggle cocaine into the nation. Officials were alerted by their unusually heavy attire. 2 days earlier at the Newark Liberty Airport, authorities discovered 30 pounds of cocaine disguised in wooden hangers, soaking into the garments of a Costa Rican woman, similar to heroin found earlier this summer. In the New Jersey-New York region, there were 10,530 seizures of illegal substances at airports and seaports in 2008. But so far this year, that number has risen to 14,547, an almost 40% increase. Are drug traffickers becoming more difficult to arrest? Are more narcotics being brought into the country? Or are police getting better at capturing them? Are these cute kitty cat statues or opium repositories? A suspicious box of plastic samples delivered from Thailand to a New York address was discovered by customs inspectors. The delivery, which contained 30 porcelain cat figurines, passed the initial scans without incident. But something wasn't quite right. After the second set of x-rays revealed plastic-wrapped bundles within the cats and a little amount of broken porcelain, the authorities had 205 pounds of raw opium in their possession. The smuggled drugs are thought to be worth roughly $9 million. We find it intriguing that someone is still transporting unprocessed opium. We believe that it would be simpler or more profitable to refine the drug all the way to heroin before concealing it in everyday items. A customs spokesman confirmed this perception by stating that opium was kind of odd to find, especially in that quantity. More intriguing, it appears that raw opium is not always readily recognized when it is in its natural state. According to Robert Perez, head of CBP's field operations in New York, field testing on the material found within the kitties were inconclusive, but a lab investigation identified the illicit opium. Cocaine-filled breast implant. People have been transporting illegal goods on their bodies for as long as they have. The drug mule is the most well-known example from today. The majority of mules consume drug packages, which are typically securely wrapped balloons or condoms, by swallowing them and carrying them in their bellies across borders. There are significant hazards involved. On a trip from Lisbon to Dublin in October 2015, a 24-year-old Brazilian man became agitated, passed out, and ultimately died after one of 80 cocaine pellets, each containing about 2 pounds of cocaine, exploded within his stomach. In another recent incident, airport staff stopped and searched a Colombian woman arriving in Berlin. She later acknowledged concealing 2.2 pounds of cocaine inside recently placed breast implants after complaining of excruciating agony. Failed attempt to smuggle drugs in bugs. Bugs aren't very efficient drug mules. Additionally, they failed to pass through Dutch customs. More than 100 huge dead bugs were shipped from Peru to the Netherlands, and when a customs official examined them closely, he found cocaine hidden in their backs. Customs spokesman Kees Naninga stated, "We see a lot of stuff, but this was a first for us." He remarked, "It appeared as though they had been cut open, the drugs had been tucked away in their backs, and then they had been put back together." Only 10 ounces of cocaine, or around $11,000 worth, were contained by the insects, according to Naninga. The finding was uncovered during a regular check at a postal sorting facility, but it wasn't made public initially. Naninga claimed he was unaware of any prosecution stemming from the discovery. Avocados high on cocaine. In November 2020, a criminal drug organization lost a cargo of fresh avocados. At the Colombian port of Buenaventura, authorities found more than 3,465 pounds of cocaine concealed among the fruit. Fortunately, the container never left the port while it was being prepped for shipment. According to Sunday World, the Buenaventura Port Control Anti-Narcotics Company, which had heard about the shipment, was able to intercept it. The drugs were delivered to a business in the Netherlands, while being concealed inside a container scheduled to be shipped to the port of Antwerp. The seizure follows a similar drug bust in which officials discovered over 593 pounds of cocaine in Buenaventura. Beware of Mickey Mouse. An incident in Providence where airport security screeners discovered a disassembled gun concealed behind stuffed animals is being attributed to a domestic dispute. The gun parts were found in the toys of a 4-year-old boy who was traveling to Detroit with his father. The TSA claims that a .40 caliber rifle was deftly hidden in the 3 animals' various parts. Inside a bear was the primary frame. A magazine with 2 inside, a firing pin, and .40 caliber ammunition were concealed within Mickey Mouse. State police from Rhode Island were contacted to look into the situation. According to NECN-TV of Boston, officials took the pistol, magazine, and ammunition and interviewed the father. Geckos in a book. The Customs Service said that wildlife traffickers attempted to ship 15 Australian geckos to Europe in hollowed-out books and picture frames. According to a statement from the Customs Service, when the packages were opened by Australia Post, the majority of the leaf-tailed geckos were discovered dead from the lack of air, food, and water. Wildlife activists were taking care of the survivors. Given that each package was directed to the Czech Republic, the smuggling attempts appeared to be connected. 4 separate Australian cities sent them through the mail. According to Richard Janesco, National Manager of Investigations, the typical strategy seems to have been to send more than 1 gecko in each shipment and hope that at least one of them survived the journey. To thwart the smuggling network, investigators were collaborating with Czech authorities and authorities in Australia, he said. Many Australian plant and animal species are coveted by smugglers and foreign collectors because of their striking colors and distinctive features. The maximum sentence for smuggling wildlife is 10 years in prison and fines of up to $96,000. Man caught smuggling cocaine in Wii exercise pad. Finding a reliable method to smuggle narcotics through airports is becoming more and more difficult these days. Finally, the NYPD has discovered that you keep drugs in your underwear. They are fully aware of the medications in your hangers and the fabric in your clothes. The medicines in your Nintendo Wii exercise pad and carrying case have finally been discovered by them. At JFK, Gene Vargas of Patterson was apprehended with more than 6 pounds of cocaine hidden within his Wii pad, worth more than $280,000. He might spend up to 40 years behind bars. According to Customs spokesman John Saleh, smugglers are clever, but not smart enough to utilize their Xbox. Clams, each filled with 10 grams of cocaine and glued shut. When someone stores their narcotics in a box of Virgin Mary statues, it's difficult not to feel a little cynical after reading about individuals hiding their booger sugar and H in Wii fit pads, hangers, and shoes. But you have to give mollusks credit for being the most recent drug smuggling breakthrough. Last weekend, a 26-year-old El Salvadorian man was detained at Washington's Dulles International Airport when it was claimed that he attempted to smuggle 152 grams of cocaine, worth around $10,000, into the nation concealed inside of clams. According to Christopher Hess, the CBP port director for the district, the smuggling attempt is one of the weirdest we've seen. Authorities claim that the clams were opened, filled with cocaine baggies, and then cemented shut. The accused drug smuggler, David Pucasangre Valquez, has been charged with making, selling, delivering, or distributing a controlled narcotic, as well as bringing illegal substances into Virginia. Although being caught, these were some of the creative plans that these smugglers put into action. Which one of these caught your attention? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up. It will help us to understand our audience and allows YouTube to suggest similar videos to you. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you with the next one.